Welcome to this journey into one of the most chilling cases ever recorded in the history of Georgia. Before we begin, I invite you to drop in the comments where you're watching from and the exact time you're hearing this narration. We want to know what time of day or night these documented stories reach you. In 1847, the Wentworth Plantation lay deep in the Georgian countryside, hidden behind thick forests and endless fields that swayed in the southern breeze. The mansion itself rose like a monument to wealth and power, white columns gleaming in sunlight, its grand windows reflecting a world that seemed serene and orderly. But beneath the polished floors and elegant furniture, the air carried whispers and shadows, secrets too heavy for words. Those who worked the land spoke in hushed tones, warning children to avoid the plantation, for the mansion was alive with something that watched, remembered, and judged. The rulers of this place were twin sisters, Isabella and Arabella Wentworth. Identical in appearance, they mirrored each other in thought and habit, their connection so complete that even the staff often mistook them for a single presence when they moved silently through the halls. From the earliest days of their childhood, the twins had been trained in the art of control. Their father, a harsh and merciless man, saw the world as a chessboard and taught them to see every person as a piece to be moved, manipulated, or eliminated. Through games, lessons, and cruel experiments, the twins learned to wield fear as easily as charm, understanding that power could be both intoxicating and addictive. By adolescence, they were flawless in both beauty and cunning, capable of entrancing anyone who looked at them, yet hiding a darkness beneath their porcelain skin and sharp green eyes. Among the many enslaved who labored under the relentless sun, two men stood out, Samuel and Elias. They were brothers in spirit if not in blood, strong, intelligent, and unafraid to hold their gaze when it met the twins. Samuel, tall and broad-shouldered, carried himself with quiet authority. Elias, wiry and quick, was clever and watchful. Their presence drew attention not only because of their strength but because of the dignity they retained in a world designed to strip them of it. It was this dignity, this quiet defiance, that captured the fascination of the twins. There was a magnetism in their interactions, a tension that both excited and terrified them. The days on the plantation were long and grueling. Fields of cotton stretched endlessly, and the enslaved worked from dawn until the sun dipped below the horizon, while overseers watched with sticks in hand. The twins observed everything, walking among the fields in flowing dresses, the hem brushing the soil, their presence a constant reminder of authority. They watched Samuel and Elias closely, noting the way they carried themselves, the slight nods of solidarity they exchanged, and the subtle ways they resisted punishment without inviting reprisal. The twins' curiosity became obsession. The attraction was more than physical. It was the allure of power meeting power, desire intertwined with the danger of discovery. By night, the mansion became a different world entirely. Candlelight flickered across polished wood and dust-covered corners, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and twist with a life of their own. The twins would move through these halls, whispers echoing softly as if the house itself was alive, waiting for them to make a mistake. Samuel and Elias would meet them in secret, often in a hidden room behind a false wall in the grand hall, a chamber long abandoned and forgotten. Here, away from prying eyes, they spoke in hushed tones, exchanged touches, and slowly formed a bond that was both intimate and perilous. Words of love, desire, and devotion were spoken, promises made that could never survive in the light of day. That night, the shadows themselves seemed to bend toward them, curling protectively around the four, acknowledging the pact that had been formed. The pact was simple in theory but impossible in reality. Isabella and Arabella, and Samuel and Elias, bound themselves together in secrecy, a marriage of passion and loyalty that defied the social laws of the time. Yet secrecy carried consequences. Every sound, every movement, every rustle in the corridors became a potential threat. The mansion seemed to respond to their fear, the shadows deepening, the temperature dropping inexplicably, and whispers threading along the walls as if the house itself were testing their resolve. The enslaved men became more than lovers. They became protectors, ensuring the covenant remained intact while navigating a world that would punish them severely if discovered. The local population, though largely unaware of the details, felt the weight of the plantation's presence. Families warned children to avoid wandering near the fields. Neighbors spoke in low voices about strange lights at night, and travelers passing through claimed to hear voices that were not their own. Some whispered that the twins engaged in dark rituals, summoning powers beyond human understanding, though whether these were true or products of fear, no one could say. It was the kind of story that grew with each telling, fragments passed from generation to generation, a cautionary tale wrapped in mystery and terror. The twins' obsession deepened over the years. They tested Samuel and Elias subtly, observing reactions to strangers, to threats, and to the mansion's strange occurrences. Nights in the hidden chamber became more than acts of passion. They were rituals of control, testing, and psychological play. Every whispered word, every brush of a hand, carried weight, and the mansion itself seemed to participate, responding to fear, desire, and defiance. Candles flickered violently, doors would slam unexpectedly, and cold drafts brushed against skin where no breeze should reach. It was as though the house was alive, demanding loyalty and punishing curiosity. Occasionally, the mansion's protection was not enough to deter intrusion. One ambitious overseer, curious about the twins' nightly absences, followed them into the woods one evening. He vanished without a trace. His screams carried faintly on the wind to those who dared to listen. Other would-be intruders, drawn by the same curiosity, were met with similar fates. Each disappearance added to the growing legend, reinforcing the fear that kept the plantation's dark secrets secure. The mansion's shadows were more than metaphorical. They seemed to stretch and twist around intruders, guiding them toward fear and away from revelation. Inside the plantation, life continued under this tension. During the day, the twins moved through the halls, commanding respect and instilling fear, their beauty a weapon, their wit sharp and unrelenting. Samuel and Elias continued their duties, performing their labor while guarding the secret of their love and protecting the twins. At night, the mansion transformed into a theater of whispered promises, stolen touches, and intimate rituals. The air carried scents of roses, candle wax, and the faint musk of the earth outside, mingling with the tension that thrummed like a living pulse. Generations of locals whispered about the plantation, each story adding layers to the myth. Grandmothers spoke of ghostly lights in the windows, children claimed to see shadows moving when no one else was there, and travelers swore they heard whispers in the night, voices entwined in desire, warning, and something dark and ancient. Few dared approach, and fewer returned with their sanity intact. The mansion's presence extended beyond its walls, influencing the towns and forests around it, embedding the story of the twins and their lovers into local folklore. As the Civil War approached, the world outside shifted, yet the plantation remained untouched by time. Isabella, Arabella, Samuel, and Elias became invisible in public life, but the mansion's supernatural presence continued to grow. Shadows lingered in hallways, cold air brushed against the skin of anyone daring enough to enter, and whispers of passion and vengeance echoed through empty rooms. Those brave or foolish enough to wander the ruins reported fleeting visions of the twins, still young, still beautiful, still terrifying, and men moving protectively by their side. Lovers who entered the mansion described unseen hands brushing against them, murmurs and voices both intimate and threatening, and glimpses of movements in corners that disappeared when looked at directly. The ruins of the plantation today remain a chilling reminder of the forbidden pact. The walls sag, floors creak, and the gardens are overgrown, yet the energy of the covenant remains intact. Visitors feel an almost tangible presence, the shadows curling around them, whispering promises and warnings simultaneously. The scent of roses lingers inexplicably, mingled with decay. Some who dare linger speak of visions of the twins and their lovers, of whispers that intertwine desire, fear, and punishment. The story, once a secret of the mansion, has become legend, a cautionary tale passed down through generations, warning that some loves are too dangerous, some desires too forbidden, and some secrets too powerful to survive the light of day. Even today, the mansion waits, It is patient, aware, alive in a way that defies understanding. The covenant forged in secrecy, sustained by desire, obsession, and loyalty, persists. Those who venture too close may hear whispers calling their names, may feel unseen hands brushing against their skin, may catch glimpses of shadows moving with intent. It is a story of beauty and horror intertwined, of passion and obsession, of power, secrecy, and supernatural guardianship. The Wentworth twins, Samuel and Elias, exist not only in history, but in the very essence of the mansion, a living testament to the perils of forbidden desire and the eternal consequences of obsession. And if you ever find yourself near the ruins, standing at the edge of the forest where the plantation once thrived, the wind may carry faint murmurs of voices that are not your own. You may feel a brush of air that chills your skin, or catch a fleeting shadow in the corner of your vision. Listen closely, for the mansion remembers. It remembers the forbidden love, the obsession, and the pact forged in secrecy. It waits, patient and eternal, reminding all who dare approach that some desires are never meant to be fulfilled, and some secrets are never meant to be discovered. This has been another story from Twin Shades. Until next time, stay in the light.